boy Claiborne Jackson, also known as Dago Diddy. I'm back in the building with y'all. Today I want to talk to y'all about 30 days, right? What can you get done or accomplish in 30 days, right? What could you possibly do in 30 days? Some people think that's a lot of time. Some people think it's a very small amount of time. But you can break a habit, start a new habit in 30 days. It's kind of like the foundation of going in that direction. So like when you see these different challenges they have, you see most of these challenges are 28-day challenges, 30-day challenges, is because they know at the end of that 28 or 30 days, this can turn into a habit that can turn into a lifestyle for you, right? So recently I took 30 days off. I took 30 days off from everything, from work and all, you know what I mean? Just so I could go on kind of like a spiritual, mental pilgrimage to try and get my mind right? So for 30 days, I took myself and put myself in intensive outpatient therapy. I know it's not something that is getting better. I know it's not something that a lot of brothers, men, fathers in general want to sit there and talk about, is going on a mental health journey and sitting down with a psychiatrist or so forth to try and get your mind right. But sometimes you get to that point to where you feel like, look, I'm a break. And you have to be mentally sound in order to survive, right? Or at least somewhat mentally sound. Going to checking things with a therapist and so forth is not something that people should look at as, oh, this person was weak and they had to go find help. You got to dig deep and find that last little bit of inner strength that'll take you to the point to where you're like, you know what? I truly need to seek help from a professional. Let me go try it. Now, I was always a naysayer of it. I was never one who was like, yeah, let's go sit down and talk to a shrink. I thought people who talk to the shrink too was weak, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do you need to go tell a stranger your problems? But the way the world is and everything that's going on, sometimes you have to find that outside person who has nothing to do with your situation that could give you straight up, honest advice on where you stand in certain positions, right? Now, within the last few years, I've lost my mom. And that's really took a toll on my mental state, you know, and I really sat down and dealt with it. I was dealing with a lot of stress at work. On top of that, you know, you find yourself in a job where you're not really advancing and making moves, but you're watching the world take off around you. You know what I mean? And then just personal life wasn't that great. You know what I mean? But the common denominator of all of it was me, right? Let me tell you this little story real quick. So I took philosophy when I was in college. Had a philosophy teacher, man, favorite class of all times. He was explaining to the class this story about a friend of his. He had a friend who had been married 3 times. His friend was telling him, you know, I've been married 3 times. I've been divorced 3 times. These women out here are crazy. What's really going on? Like, how come I can't find a good one? It starts off good and then they just turn out terrible. So he was like, you know, I had to be honest with my friend and was like, you've been married 3 times. Each time you've been married, you've been involved. So the common denominator of all of your marriages is yourself. So somewhere in there, the commonality of the problems that's taking place is you. You're the common denominator in all of your problems. So you take that story. Now, I tell people that story all the time, and I tell them about themselves with that story. Those who are still in denial of being the common denominator want no part of that story. But then there's other people who are like, well, damn, maybe that is me. Maybe I am tripping. Maybe I do need to go seek some kind of help. But just understand in life, you are the common denominator of every problem that you have. And somewhere down there, you have to figure out how do you deal with yourself, fix yourself, and then take on the rest of the world. Because no matter where you go, there you are. So if you're screwed up as an individual on the inside, you're going to take your same screwed up self no matter where you go. So 30 days, I took myself to intensive outpatient therapy. What does that entail? That was meeting 3 times a week for 2 to 3 hours in group sessions, and then 1 hour individually with your own therapist. You know what I mean? And it was a 30-day program. And part of that was the consistency. You know, you can miss 1 or 2, but if you miss more than 2, then you're out of the program because you're not getting your full 30 days of therapy and help and so forth. Now, the weekends, you still had homework that you had to do to try and figure out something for your own mental sanity type thing. You know, take a walk, read a book, yoga, but something dedicated to yourself where there was 20 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, but you had to do something for yourself in order to try and help yourself get better. So With that being said, 30 days, we would have group therapy since everything's going on. Everybody's working from home. You can't be in the same buildings and so forth. They would tell us, hey, take your phone. When we have therapy, go to the park, sit in your car at the park and conduct the therapy session. Go to the beach and conduct the therapy session there. But get out of your house and go outside and get you some sunlight and some air in different settings. Well, I started taking myself to the beach when we had therapy sessions in the morning. And either before or after therapy, I started running the boardwalk. Just running the boardwalk. I've never been a runner. Running was never my thing unless I was running away from my problems, right? So I started running. Now, I started running before the actual 30-day therapy, mental health stretch, but I found a new dedication during that 30-day window because now my mind is getting clear. They're helping me through a lot of my problems, and now I'm starting to see things clearly. So now from that 30 days of mental health came physical health along with it, because now I'm incorporating running into a healthier lifestyle. So I was already part of a program to lose weight that I'd actually started by maybe 6, 7, 8, 5, 8 months ago. And that too started from a 30-day challenge. It was a 30-day body weight fat loss program that this guy charged $1 for. Funk Roberts, matter of fact. His programs are legit. I don't get any plug or pay for that, but his programs are legit. But anyhow, he had it offered for $1. I took that program, right? It was a 28-day program, body weights program. I've never been one to work out in my own house, but when everything got shut down, I had to do something because that weight was already there before it happened. And the weight was just going to continue to stack because now I'm being stagnant. So I joined his program for $1. That was 28 days. Now, 7 months later, I'm still part of his program. I went from 200 and almost 60 pounds down to now 215. But that started in 30 days. And that habit has become a lifestyle. Now it's no longer a habit. It turned into a lifestyle. Now you have people out there who will argue and say, hey, in 30 days, that's not how you form a habit. 30 days is just the first steps and stages of developing a habit. 30, 60, 90, who cares? But if you can focus and stay consistent with one thing for 30 days, everything else is going to flow for you. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just have to really sit back and say, what is it that I want to work on for 30 days that's going to help improve me? It could be a hobby. You know what I mean? It could be just deep breathing to try and relax. It could be yoga, something that you have a passion for. Find it and spend anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, as much time as you can devote for 30 days consistently. You find a time in that window that works for you, but in 30 days, you can change your life. You know what I'm saying? I know in 30 days, I've changed mine from the physical side, the mental side. Man, I even took a class or a course. It was a seminar for public speaking. You know, one of the things that I plan on doing going forward is to get from behind the microphone on the podcast and start doing speaking engagements to try and help other people who have gone through the same similar things that I've gone through. You know, speaking to young men and women who are trying to make that transition from, you know, the street type life, neighborhood activities to, you know, a 9-to-5 environment. It doesn't necessarily have to be in an office, but just making that change, getting that 1 foot out and completely making that power shift and going on a whole different journey. Right. And that's part of my uncomfortable series with the getting comfortable while being uncomfortable. That's a lot of the things that I talk about and touch on during that series, you know, is to try and help people see that, hey, you can make a change. But a lot of that came from the 30 days that I took for that mental health to gain clarity and focus on a lot of things that I wanted to do. So when I saw this guy pop up, talking about public service or public speaking engagements and so on, do you want to help people? Do you want to make a difference? I enrolled in a seminar, took a seminar, and have been following in contact with him. And that started during that 30-day stretch also. Within that 30-day window, I started doing this podcast, man. You know, it was something that really caught my attention, something I wanted to invest in, time-wise and all. And I made time for it. So it was almost like taking that 30 days off was to reset my life, regain focus, and gain control of my life. Now, all the issues that I had during that time that forced me to go for the 30 days of kind of like just getting away from everything, a lot of those issues are still present. I'm still at the same job. I still mourn the loss of my mom. I'm still working on better relationships, but now I know how to approach things differently to where the situations don't overwhelm me and force me back into a hole. You feel what I'm saying? Now it's kind of like, okay, here's the problem. Either I can deal with this problem, hit it head on, find ways to resolve the issues within this problem, or if it's something that I can just remove myself from, I'll choose the other route, just remove myself from it if it's not something that I necessarily need to be involved in. You know, a lot of things come to you based on how you put out that energy. So now, you wake up every day and I feel so much better. I'm so much more at peace with the world and the universe, but those problems are still there, but I don't let those problems consume me. If it's work-related issues, we can talk about work-related issues Monday through Friday. I'll give you about a half hour of my time after I'm off the clock. But once I'm done, I close that chapter and I'll move forward. That was part of the 30 days treatment was, knowing when to back yourself out of something. So my thing to everybody out here is find something for 30 days, even if it's just a 30-day detox and getting yourself off of social media, getting yourself away from Facebook. Don't get yourself away from my podcast. Please continue to tune in. But I'm just saying, but if you take yourself away from Facebook, just for say, right now with all the elections, all the political stuff going on, everybody now is a political science major and they all know everything about who you should vote for, who you shouldn't vote for. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to find a lot of positivity on Facebook. Even if you're going to stay on Facebook, go back 30 days through all of the posts on your thing, or just through the people or the comments that have been placed on your page on the threads and so forth. Go through and do a detox. Look for everybody on there who always has something negative to say, that you get caught up in some kind of negative debate, battle, debacle, some kind of BS with, and delete that fool. If you don't want to delete them because you don't want to hurt somebody's feeling, then just, do that limited block thing to where you don't have to see nothing from them, and give yourself 30 days of peace from that person. Because even that's a step in the direction of mental health, mentally being fit and mentally being sound. I never understood how people got bullied in the internet, cyberbullying. I'm like, just log off. But if you find it to where you can't log off, then there's part of your problem is that you're being controlled by something, which is another thing with 30 days. Try not to do something that you really don't need that's bad for you for 30 days. And if you can't not pull yourself away from it for 30 days, and you might want to sit down and talk to somebody about your problem, because anything that you do, you should be able to relieve or remove yourself from it for 30 days and not have an issue behind it. Can you feel me? You know what I'm saying? So that was just the whole thing I wanted to share with y'all is 30 days, man, can turn something that's a habit, start of a habit, into a lifestyle, and a lifestyle can then turn into a positive change in your life. But you have to actually sit back and figure out what it is you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But for me, every time I turn around, I got a new challenge. You know what I'm saying? My next challenge is going to be to try and run consecutively for 30 days, whether it's a mile, 2 miles, whatever. The miles will increase every day as I run. I'm going to work on another series where I can kind of come in here and talk to you guys. I might pick one topic each day, but for 30 days, consistently come in here and talk about one of the things that we learned during that mental health stretch and journey that I went on, some of the techniques that they shared with us. But I know one of the big techniques that they were sharing with us was learning how to remove yourself from negative situations and environments. And that's probably how I'll start things off with y'all on that subject matter. But for the next 30 days, and it doesn't have to be at the start of the next month, you can start right now. 30 days starts from the day that you decide, not because of a calendar or some shit like that says, oh, you have to start on the 1st. But if it works for you and that helps keep you consistent, then cool. Then go ahead and roll with that. But 30 days from now, and I check back in with y'all, I'll probably be telling you about a story about me running a marathon or something else, right? Now, I'm going to tell you a little something about me and running. Running was never my thing. I was never that runner. So I would always tell people, like, look, if me and you are somewhere and we run into a bear, then I'm just going to fight this bear. And you can take off a run and go get help, or be the person on the news that tells the story about how your homeboy stayed behind so he could fight that bear. Because I'm not running from the bear. My cardio game is not up that great. And mentally, where my mind was at was like, well, shit, if I lose to the bear and it's over, it's over. But now I'm going to tell y'all like this, how much running I've been doing. If we're someplace and a bear hops out on us, good luck and God bless, because now all I got to do is outrun you. I don't have to outrun that bear. And I think at this point in my life, I could probably outrun most of the people I'd be in the forest with. I'm just saying. So if me and you are somewhere and the bear gets loose, hey, lace them boots up and just understand I'm not trying to outrun that bear. I'm trying to outrun you. I still love you, though, but I'm just going to try and outrun you. You know what I'm saying? So just a little funny story, man, a little jokey joke. But on the serious note, man, hey, focus on 30 days, man. The next 30 days can change your life. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So check this out, though.
In 30 days.
I had to do it, man. I had to do it. I was probably loud as hell, right? But it probably woke you up, too, if you're starting to get stuck in a wreck. Anyhow, man, I thank y'all for tuning in with your boy, Claiborne Jackson, Dago Diddy in the building, Dago Diddy Vision. You know, it's not just a vision now, it's a movement. So thank you for rocking out with me, man. Until the next time, I'm going to come back and holler at y'all. But y'all stay focused, man. In 30 days, pick one thing that could possibly change your life. You dig? Habit, lifestyle, 30 days. You dig?